All right, I'm back and welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're kicking off a series on PlantUML. Finally, I've been talking about this for a long time, and here we go. We're going to get into PlantUML, an alternative to Sparx EA. Sparx is still my favorite modeling tool, and throughout this year, we're going to be talking about using PlantUML and other UML tools in conjunction with Sparx UML. So what we're going to try to do here in this episode is talk about the steps to getting PlantUML up and running on your PC. If you've got Linux, we'll talk about that later, or even Mac. Maybe I'll cover that setup in later episodes. My focus is on PCs, Windows in particular, and we're on Windows 11. Not that I'm happy about it, but everything seems to be working just fine. So in this episode, we're going to make sure you've got a Java Runtime Environment set up. That should be natural if you're an engineer. We're going to get PlantUML from a safe and official download point, and I use GitHub for that. And we're going to bring in Graphviz and talk about that in this episode. And then we're going to be using Visual Studio Code, or VS Code, for our integrated development environment, or IDE, to do modeling using PlantUML. So let's get started. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure we have our Java Runtime Environment set up. So we want to go to an official Java download. I'm java.com. And we're going to download our version here, Windows Offline 64-bit. Good enough. We're going to bring that in there. We'll talk about other operating systems maybe later in this channel, maybe this year. But I'm focused on Windows. So we're going to get our Java Runtime Environment download installed and our environment variable path set up so that we can find our JRE when we're going to need it for PlantUML. All right, next we're going to download Graphviz, or graph visualization software. And this was developed by AT&T Bell Labs in the late 80s and is necessary for PlantUML in rendering its graphics. So when we get to graphviz.org downloads, there's the URL. We are going to go down to the latest version, which today is 14.1, and download either the exe or the zip archive and install that on your PC. Now, that's necessary for rendering the PlantUML models, and we'll talk about that and alternatives a little bit later on here. So let's get Graphviz installed and configured, and then go from there. All right, next we're going to get PlantUML, right? So this is Java-based code, and we're going to go to github.com/PlantUML/PlantUML. Do not go to an untrusted site, mirrored site like SourceForge. Go to GitHub, best place to get it. And we're just going to scroll right on down to the README section right here. And we're going to select download. This one right here is fine. It's going to take you to the download page. You can scroll down here. We're going to grab the PlantUML jar file right here. And there's other files that you can take a look at if you want, but we just need this one right here, and that's fine. Right, and we'll download that and set that up. You can put that in your environmental variables under your path so that you're able to run it anywhere on your system. But we're going to let VS Code set this up, and let's get to that next. So let's roll over to our download page here. Visual Studio Code at code.visualstudio.com/download. You get this page right here. There's other places you can go from Microsoft to get to the various downloads and development environments, but this is fine for us. So you're going to pick your Windows install file. We're going with 64-bit. Bringing that down. System installer is fine. User installer is fine, and go from there. So we download that, we install it, we configure it, and we're going to jump into that one next. So let's get over there and get started. All right, here we are in Visual Studio Code. I'm just going to say VS Code, sometimes VSC. And we have configured a dev environment on our C drive, just simply called demo. I always put a README file in to tell people that are coming into this that, hey, this is a temporary folder only. Do not keep anything here you don't want destroyed, because we do testing in here. And we're going to go through the tooling right here, especially down here to extensions. Let's do that next. Let's take a look at Java. So in extensions, we're just going to type in Java and it's going to search the library there. And here we've got Java. It's not installed in the IDE as an extension. I already have that configured on my desktop, but you could hit install here, install this, and it will set up everything for you. So that's pretty cool. The next thing we're going to do is look for Graphviz. And so Graphviz comes with Graphviz Interactive. I don't have this one installed. You could certainly click install and it'll bring it in. We'll cover this in a later episode, but I use Graphviz Preview. You can click install. It's not installed via VS Code. I've installed it separately, so I know it's there. The other thing is PlantUML. Let's go to that one next. PlantUML. This one comes with a light version. So you can see here, PlantUML by Jebs. Look at all this for PlantUML. We'll try to get into some of these. Don't have a lot of time for that. But the one that I recommend is Jebs, right? So here you've got all the README on it. You can go, instead of going to GitHub, you can do an install from here. I've done an install, so you can uninstall it and configure it. It's much easier to do it within VS Code. How to install on various platforms, quick install for Windows, all of this great material and content here for you. Support, features, change logs, all of this is available via VS Code community. So there is PlantUML. All right, let's go ahead and close this extension page. We're going to go back up here to Explorer, and I have my dev environment located. Again, I can click on the README file, maintain notes here for myself and other users that are coming in here. I have put in an example.PlantUML is the extension PUML file in here. Very easy to create a file. You can come here, a new file, where you can give it a name, plant example 2. We'll do that, PlantUML, PUML, right, extension. If it's text, it's not going to take advantage. It's not, the IntelliSense is not going to recognize it. So always add the extension PUML in this demonstration, right? So let's just click on the first one I created. Both of them are the same right here. And let's get into creating a PlantUML model. All right, I went back and renamed example2.txt, so a text file. And then this one is your PlantUML extension here, which I recommend you use. Let's start here. So everything starts with a start UML. And you can see the keyword here, start UML. I can hit tab. You notice the double @ sign right there? Let's go ahead and delete this and do it again, all right? Start UML. Now I'm going to hit tab. Look at that. It put the @ sign in there. And every file ends with an end UML, right? Tab. There you go. Now everything in between this is your model data. So the first thing you do is you start with your element type. And we're going to start with class. You can see IntelliSense is kicking off there. And you got to give your class a name. We're just going to call it class 1. And then we're going to hit curly bracket here. And you notice, just like in most of your IDEs, it auto-populates it, sets it for you. So we got an opening and closing curly tab. We're going to hit enter. And now we have a space here for other data, metadata, your attributes and your operations. Let's not do anything yet. What we're going to do is space down. Class is the type we want. And we're going to name this one class 2, curly bracket, and then enter. All right, so there we go. Let's go ahead and make sure we save this, and there it's saved. All right, now since we installed Graphviz, if I right-click in here, we have preview current diagram, or if I hit Alt-D, while inside my start and my end, I can preview the diagram. It opens up a window to the right, and there we go, class 1 and class 2. All right, we're going to leave the preview window open. We're going to go back over to our script right here. We're going to go between the curly brackets on class 1. We're going to start with a plus, which is public, name, colon, space colon, keep it clean, string, right? And then we're going to hit enter. Now, it automatically, IntelliSense, grab this. That's not what we want to do. If you look over in preview, I got an error. I want string, space, enter, right? Now look over in preview, right? So if you just hit enter without the space, it doesn't know you're done and grabs the first IntelliSense. Just a little tip there. Let's go plus again for public, and let's create a function. Now I'm going to put open and closing parentheses in here and hit enter. And if you look over at our preview, we can zoom in if we want. You can see it knows this is a function in a UML class element. Separate your attributes by your operations. Classic object-oriented principles, right? Now, once you get the hang of the UML, it goes really fast. For example, here, if I want to rename class 1 right here, I can just say, hey, I want this class to be called user. And if I look over here, in real time, it's updating my model as I'm going. And if I go down here to class 2 and say, you know what, I want this pattern to say auth service. And then in between here, I want to put in a function in here, plus, and then lowercase, let's follow the proper convention, authenticate, right? And then I'm going to put in open paren, and it automatically creates a close paren. And if you look over here, look at that, automatically updated my model. So as I'm writing this in plain English or plain text, my model is being updated in real time. Next, let's bring in some connections to our 2 class elements here. So I'm going to go down, keep it clean, go down with a space. Here we go. And I'm going to grab the first class. It is called user. So I'm going with user. Look at IntelliSense. Pick that up. I'm going to hit space. And I'm just going to put in dash dash, which signifies a connection, an association, unidirectional, no direction. Now, the next class is called auth service. Look at that. I just started typing it. It picked it up. I can hit enter. If I go colon, I can say invoke. I can put anything I want in here. And you can see in real time, it draws out, well, what is this connection that's here? And we're going to get a lot more into this as we get into this series, how to very quickly create class diagrams, sequence diagrams, use case diagrams, and so on. Next, let's give our diagram a title. So right underneath Start UML, we're going to type the keyword title. Look at that, IntelliSense picking it up, space, and then we're just going to call it login. Login model, give it any name you want. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And IntelliSense, because I did not hit space, look at that. It picked up a keyword in here and I don't want that. So hit space, then hit enter. And now our model has a title. Our diagram has a title. Now, right now, our diagram, our element orientation is top down. Let's say I want it to be left to right. So what I'm going to do is right above title, I can certainly go below title, left to right. And then very important direction to get rid of that error right there. And look at that, recreated, rendered the diagram with a title left to right. Now I told you I was going to talk about the text file. So we've got text file, we've got a blank area. Let's just start typing start UML. I have no IntelliSense, end UML. No IntelliSense. Try to render. No, there's no pop-up. There's no quick access to render the diagram. This is still showing over here, but that's the previous model. There's nothing to render, refresh in here. So always make sure you add .puml, PlantUML here to the file extension so that you get the IntelliSense when you're quickly modeling whatever you desire. All right, we're going to wrap up now, and we're going to, in the next episode, jump into building templates to help stakeholders, most importantly yourself, get started in PlantUML. We're going to get into more on class diagrams, how to build out connections, how to build more complex block diagrams, and so on. And then we'll eventually get into episodes that are going to touch on use cases with boundaries, changing directions and doing things with use cases, especially larger use cases when we get into those. And then another episode separate, we're going to talk about sequence diagrams. And then in another episode, we're going to talk about state machines. So we have a lot to cover in this series in PlantUML as a tool to help you learn the unified modeling language. And then what we're trying to do is get to a point where we can show how to integrate PlantUML, tools like Draw.io. We'll have a separate series on that with Sparx Enterprise Architect, which to me is still the most powerful UML tool out there. But I'll let you decide. Let me know if you've got any questions or concerns as we dive into this conversation. Let me know if you've got any problems that you want to see solved, and let's learn together as we're getting into this. So until that next episode, happy modeling.